Hello guys, we are here from Group B and we will tell you about lunar eclipse or moon eclipse, about its definition, about its types, the process, and the impact for human. Just keep on watching.
Hello friends, so I'm gonna tell you about the definition of lunar eclipse. So, a lunar eclipse is a phenomenon when part or all of a moon's cross-section is covered by the shadow of the Earth. This happens if the Earth is between the Sun and Moon in the same straight line, so that the Sun's rays cannot reach the Moon because they are blocked by the Earth.
Here, I will explain you about the types of lunar eclipse. So, the moon eclipse or the lunar eclipse can only occur in the full moon. And if only the moon passes through some portion of shadow of the earth. And the shadow is actually composed of two cone-shaped components, one nested inside the other. There are three types of lunar eclipse according to astronomers. The first one is penumbral lunar eclipse. These events are only for academical research because these events are so damn hard to observe. And the last penumbral eclipse happened on 11 January 2020. And the second one is partial lunar eclipse. These events are so easy to see even with unaided eyes. And the last partial lunar eclipse happened 17th of July 2019. And the last one, or number 3, is the total lunar eclipse. These events are quite tricky due to the moon vibrant red color during the total phase. And the last total lunar eclipse, sorry, I made a mistake in my presentation. The last total lunar eclipse happened on 17th of July 2019. Same with the partial one, but the total lunar eclipse always come from after the partial one was over. So it's kind of like cycle. Like after the partial one, there will be the total one.
Now, I'm going to tell you how the lunar eclipse occurs. The moon's orbit on Earth is 29.5 days, so we can see the full moon appears every month in our sky. But it's not always in a similar place. Why? It's caused by the moon's orbit on Earth is tilted, so they are not always being aligned. And when the Sun, the Earth, and the Moon is being aligned, it can cause the lunar eclipse. It happened because the Earth blocking the Sun's shadow. The eclipse produced two types of shadow, the brighter shadow called penumbra and the darker shadow called umbra. When the moon reached the corner of penumbra, we called it by partial lunar eclipse. And when the moon reached the penumbra, we can call it by penumbral lunar eclipse. And when the moon reached the umbra, which is the darker side, we can call it by total lunar eclipse. In total lunar eclipse, the moon can turn into red. Why? It's because the Earth's atmosphere can only reflect the red shadow to the moon. Unlike the solar eclipse, the moon eclipse can be seen by our naked eyes. It is not as dangerous as the solar eclipse.
Hello guys, for the next topic is the impacts of moon eclipse. NASA says there's no evidence that supports the idea that lunar eclipse have a physical effect on people, but it doesn't mean that eclipse can produce profound psychological effect that can lead to physical effects because of the belief people have and the action they take because of those beliefs. Lunar eclipse does lead to some psychological effects because of people, beliefs, and action. This psychological effect may lead to some physical effect as well. The impact of moon eclipse has two kinds of impacts. The first one is tidal effects. The second one is effects on the ice. First is tidal effect. The moon causes tides in the ocean through its gravitational pull. It does the same to the human bodies as they contain 70% water. But as human bodies are not as big as oceans and seas, the effects are hardly noticeable. Even pregnant ladies are advised not to go out during an eclipse, but there's no science backing this up. Because a lunar eclipse takes place during a full moon, tides are getting higher during this time. Second, effect on the ice. During the last lunar eclipse, it was advised to wear protective eyewear so as to protect people's eye from the bright sunlight. But generally during a lunar eclipse, the moon isn't strong, so it's safe to look at it without any protective glass. Though during a solar eclipse, retinal injuries can be caused if we seen without protective glasses. Well, that's all for the impact of moon eclipse. The next material will be continued with my friends.
But before that, do you know that our Earth is moving? Yeah, our Earth and the other planets are rotate or turn in their own orbit or called axis, and this movement called rotation. Also, they move around the Sun in an elliptical orbit, and it's called revolution. To make a complete rotation, the Earth needs 24 hours or a day, and the movement of the Earth's revolution takes 365 days, or exactly 1 year. The lunar eclipse can occur twice a year, and usually followed by the solar eclipse before or after that. Unlike the solar eclipse, which can be viewed from a small area on the Earth, the lunar eclipse may be viewed from anywhere on the night side of the Earth. A total lunar eclipse can be last up to nearly 2 hours, while the solar eclipse only lasts up to a few minutes. Also, unlike the solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse can be seen with naked eyes without any eye protection or special precautions because it's not dangerous. As the moon will move farther away from the Earth, then one day it will be too far for the moon to reach the shadows of the Earth, umbra or penumbra. So, before that happens, maybe a billion years later, we can still see this beautiful phenomenon in the night sky.
So that's all from us, and if we made some mistakes, please forgive us. Stay home and stay healthy. God bless and see you guys!